The Christmas season is a season of light. During the Mass of Christmas Day, we heard those arrestingly simple words of St. John from the beginning of his Gospel. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and that Word was the light of the world, and that light overcomes every darkness. In Jesus' birth, the light of heaven dawns in our world and scatters its darkness. And throughout this season of Christmas, we trace the journey of this light of Jesus to us. The next great feast of Christmas is the Holy Family, in which we recognize both for ourselves and in the history of salvation that the light of Jesus first shines in the context of family life. For most of us, that is where we first caught glimpse of the light of Christ. The family is, for most of us, the first place where we learn the love of God. Today, on the Feast of the Epiphany, we celebrate the truth that this light of Jesus, which first shone in our world in Bethlehem 2,000 years ago, and we first received, most of us in our families, shines on every single person God has created. That God gives light to all people to guide them to Himself. It's remarkable when you look attentively at the Christmas story and its readings, how this light shines differently upon different people. The first people to see this light were the shepherds, lying in their fields during the dark of night, that first Christmas. To them was given the amazing glorious light of heaven. They receive a vision of angels, a brilliant flash of heavenly brilliance. And they, by this brilliant heavenly light, travel a few hundred yards to the manger. The people whom we honor today, the Magi, had a very different arrangement. The Magi were not given a brilliant flash of heavenly light, but rather the simple, distant, and sometimes dim light of a star. And their journey was not a matter of hundreds of yards, but hundreds of miles. This difference in light and this difference in journeying reflects the different paths by which we are brought to Jesus. Some of us here, maybe when we were very young, received a brilliant flash of heavenly light in which we were confirmed in our faith and never looked back. Others of us, more like the Magi, perhaps had to travel many hard and difficult years of searching before we came to faith. Whether we receive a flash of amazing heavenly light or the dim light of a star, the source is the same. It's Jesus. And the end is the same, to guide us to Him. All of us, each day of our lives are given light to find Jesus. Sometimes we're not aware of it. Sometimes we are blind to it. But it always shines upon us. When I think of that journey that the Magi took, with its hundreds of miles, its mountainous terrains and deserts that had to be traversed, I'm sure there were some days, some cloudy nights, when the Magi wondered where they were going and whether that dim light in the sky was guiding them anywhere good. Sometimes in our lives we can feel the same way. We can find ourselves exhausted, tired, and wondering where our life is going and whether God is really leading us. Those Magi surely felt that way. But each day, they got up and journeyed forward in trust. That journey was a matter of taking one step at a time by the light of that sometimes dim star. And the same is true for us. We are called to keep moving forward, even when we're tired, even when we're in the dark. And we do so in the faith that God is guiding us. If we look to our past, we see quite clearly all the ways that God has guided us through the difficulties and trials of life. And his guidance is not over. He has yet more wonders, yet more light to show you. And the message of today's feast is to keep going by the light God gives us. That light is leading us somewhere good. It's led us here to this place where we come and do Jesus homage, where we lay our lives down and give him the gift of our time and the gift of our hearts. That light that shines upon all of us, sometimes brightly, sometimes dimly, is leading us to the fullness of light, heaven. And for those who persevere in the light given them, they will see that full light of Jesus in heaven forever.